Nottingham Forest 1, Man United 0. Yesterday's game. All right, cool. Ship result, obviously. I feel like in I'm not too surprised at the result. The annoying thing for me is just the fan base. We had two decent results, two decent performances before the international break, and some of our fans, especially on social media, man, were getting so giddy about, yeah, now we can win the Europa League, like already like jumping past games. We can now finish and push to have like a top 10 finish or get close. It's like, brothers, we are 14th, 15th, 16th for a reason. Why do you think it suddenly just turns around and clicks like that? We faced pretty shit sides prior, which is why we got those results that we got. I think we were kind of flattered with the results because obviously opposition wasn't that great. The moment we face a half decent side like Nottingham Forest, who aren't even that good themselves, but they are obviously doing well in the Premier League and currently sit third, we of course don't have an answer for what they have. So I felt like this game was one of those sobering moments for a lot of those giddy United fans to kind of go back to reality again and settle down. Like, we are terrible. We are terrible and we need to start from square one, and this season's a write-off. There's no saving this season. There is no last burst of results that are going to save us. No Europa League trophy will turn the season around and make it a victory or make it a win. It's a failure. And why is this a failure? It's a failure because in the middle of the season, or more, before the middle of the season, the board decided that Erik ten Hag was surplus to requirements. He wasn't doing enough. That's what it felt like anyway. Again, I don't know if this is true, but I'm trying to use deduction and reasoning to come to the great conclusion of what happened. We then sacked Erik ten Hag and hired Amorim in the hopes that he could, in my opinion, save the season, quote unquote. He's come in and the season has died. Now, it could be based on him a little bit. He was responsible. I say the players are responsible, but I say largely it's the board. Largely it's this division, this Ineos, right? This sporting group that's taken over us and meant to be a lot more, and meant to be better than Glazers at, ensuring the football side of the club is kind of sorted. They brought Amorim in and didn't really give him the signings in order for him to play his football. People will say, hey, he shouldn't need signings. He should play the way that he should play. But I think if you bring in a manager like Amorim with a certain set of, with a very set way of playing, you kind of do need these players. It's not fair to it's not fair to hire a manager like that and then expect him to work with the players that we have. I don't think that's fair. I think if that's the case, you might as well have kept Erik ten Hag or keep Ruud van Nistelrooy until the end of the season. But they didn't want to do that. And then we are where we are now in this position. This game I thought was a weird one because I think this was one of those games where for the people that are critics of style of play, this would be the good example of it. Because I felt like in this game, we saw a really distinct style of play. We kind of seen the proof or I think we kind of saw what is going on in the changing field. We saw that Amorim style of play is now being taught to the players. They're now getting it. And we saw a lot of combination play along the wing, or not wing backs, but with how the wing backs were getting forward, midfield. We saw some good shit, good football being played. But of course, the most important result is who scores the goals. And Nottingham Forest got a good goal on the break. Now, the goal on the break came against the run of play because we were dominating a lot of the possession, but we weren't really doing much anyway with it. And the most embarrassing thing is that the goal came from a corner. We had a corner, it gets cleared, Elanga gets the ball and basically carries it the whole length of the pitch and scores. Now, for Anthony Elanga, that's an amazing goal. And I'm really happy for him because I personally think he wasn't given a fair shake at United. I think Elanga, like many a player before him, for whatever reason, we have this tendency at United to let go of players who have potential, but then keep the players that are terrible. Like Scott McTominay stayed way too long at the club. Luke Shaw is still at the club. A bunch of players stay at the club, but then we let other good ones go, who maybe have potential. So Elanga maybe suffered from that because I don't think Elanga is any worse than Anthony. No, I think Elanga's a better player, than an Anthony or a Garnacho, in my personal opinion. But Garnacho is probably going to stay here this next season, and Anthony we bought him for 100 million, essentially. So I was happy for Anthony in that regard. What I wasn't happy about is the defending. In my opinion, considering the amount of players that we had coming back, I thought Garnacho should have taken out Elanga. I thought Garnacho should have taken Elanga out. But, again, he doesn't really have any brains. He actually tried to tackle him and get the ball. That wasn't going to happen because he's running at such pace. And he's also not, he doesn't defend well anyway, Garnacho. He's got good tracking back pace, but in terms of the tackling, he's not that great. I also feel like Onana should have saved that goal. That shot wasn't good enough for Onana to miss it. That shot was not good enough for Onana to miss that. He was, if I'm not mistaken, he was way too much on his right-hand side of the goal. He wasn't dead center. He was too far right. And when the shot did go, he almost does that thing that I hate that he does, where he kind of like jumps up and then goes down. He doesn't like slide across like most top-level goalkeepers do. Most top-level goalkeepers have an ability to kind of like shoot to the side, right? Parallel. Onana does this odd, like kind of like, he does like a kind of N shape whenever he's diving. He kind of goes up and then down again, or up, across, and then down, which obviously doesn't give him enough time to get down on the ball. And again, you know, Elanga's usually right-footed. A left-footed shot inside the box like that, he should have saved it. I think a top-level keeper is tipping that around the post, you know, or tipping that against the post and gathering it, at least. And Onana didn't get close to it. But then we dominated again a lot of the game. We had the most shots, but they didn't really feel like we troubled the keeper, really, with the exception of maybe Euros getting his foot next to the keeper's face and shit. We didn't really do much to trouble them. And yeah, a lot of players played terribly, especially Garnacho. Garnacho's tendency to be very greedy and not pass the ball and always shoot is concerning. But the most concerning thing for me is the fact that none of his teammates give him a rollicking. None of his teammates, like when he shoots all the time, he cuts in and tries to go for the top corner and ends up in row Z. No one turns around and tells him, oh, you fucking little rat, pass the ball. No one does that anymore in the club. And I'm not too sure if this is like a woke thing or people are too worried about his emotions. If it's the manager telling the players, don't shout at somebody if they try something. I'm not too sure what's going on, but I hate this thing that we have where a player constantly gives the ball away. A player constantly keeps greedy, doesn't look for his other teammate, doesn't get rollocked or bollocked by the fucking other players. That is a standard thing that happens in football. But it doesn't so it doesn't happen. So I'm not too sure who I should blame. Should I blame the manager for keep playing this fucking shit? Should I blame the other players for not stepping up and shouting at him and telling him to pass the fucking ball? I don't really know what's going on, but Garnacho is absolute dog shit. He's dog shit mostly because he carries himself like he's an elite player with the fucking vapor boots and the fucking haircut and all the fucking tattoos, but he is absolute dog shit. I'd say Mudryk is even better than him. Mudryk might be one of the worst wingers in the league, but I think even Mudryk has a lot more end product, has a bit something to him than our Garnacho. Garnacho is garbage, man, so fucking shit. And he has this ego, this bravado, this posture, as if he's a top player and he's arrived. You are fucking shit. I fucking hate him. Zerski also didn't play too well. He was also below par playing up front. But I don't really understand why we played that system, considering we played a better system before the break. I don't really, whatever happened. I thought Casemiro did pretty well in the midfield. I thought Bruno Fernandes was terrible, by the way. Bruno Fernandes had some amazing press during the fucking international break. Like, everyone was giggling and waxing and wanking over Bruno Fernandes. But again, terrible performance from him. My main problem with Bruno Fernandes, in my opinion, is that I don't really like that we rely on him so much. I fucking hate that we rely on that player so much. I hate that he's like the only player that we have of any discernible quality, so we have to play him every fucking single game and he can never get subbed. I fucking hate it because it creates this feeling that he's beyond reproach, that he can't get criticized because he's always playing and he's a captain. He's fucking garbage, bro. He's not that good. He really isn't that good. He's stat pads. If he doesn't get an assist or score and you actually watch him with your eyes, you see how often he gives away the ball and you see how little he does to impact games. He's not good. He really is not fucking good. But people always fucking go to the stats, goal creation, goal contributions, all this nonsense statistics that don't really give you an accurate representation of what the player's doing on a pitch. Because if an assist stat is me giving the ball to you at the halfway line and you sprint past 7 players and bang it top bins, that's not an assist. I don't care what the fuck anyone says. I don't care. I don't care. I pass the ball to you at the fucking cross, at the halfway line, and you ran 60 meters. Dodge, like fucking doing fucking, what you call it, step overs past 17 players. And then you smashed it top bins, and I'm getting an assist. That's all you. That wasn't me. I just gave the ball to you at the halfway line. Like, fuck off, man, honestly. So annoyed, so frustrated, but not surprised. The season is going to end on a whimper. I'll end it to say this. This section. So I don't want to get too toxic. I think what we're seeing is where we would have ended up as a club if we didn't have Galactico players. I think that era of Ed Woodward and the Glazers doing our transfers and signing Galactico players like Pogba's and the Ibrahimoviches and whoever else it may be over the years, I think that papered over the cracks. So if you have star Galactico players like that, and Martial's still around, the Rashford still playing at his peak is still around, and then you also have David De Gea in the goal, who's one of the best keepers in the world at that time, you can get away with being a shit team. So I think we got away with being a shit team because we had a world-class shot stopper and we had world-class players, 2 or 3, who could win games on their own. They were individual brilliance, individual moments, FC. That's what we got away with. But now we don't have a world-class goalkeeper and we don't have individual brilliance anymore. We're now seeing where we're actually at. So I think all those other positions that we finished in, league positions, I think if you really analyze it, they were false finishes, in my personal opinion. They were false finishes because we had individual brilliance saving us. We had Rashford having that crazy season where he scored like 30 goals and shit. And then I'm sure in that same season, the keeper's pulling off incredible saves. So now we don't have David De Gea and we don't have these individual brilliance fucking players. Look where we're at. One of the worst United teams in history, I think in recent history. Most likely, you could make an argument that we need a whole entire new squad. I think a lot of those players will be lucky to be back in the team or in the squad next season. I'm hoping the outgoings include fucking Luke Shaw and Mason Mount, but it's unlikely. We are really in big trouble. And it's only going to get worse because those teams up above are starting to pull away. We're in really big trouble. But again, what do I know, man? What do I know? Absolutely nothing.